and her colleagues to take a look around her house, where Sarah told them she and Joe had no plans to split up. But, said Sarah, she and Joe did plan to divorce themselves from his family.
We do have this great relationship because Joe and her made good decisions together to sympathize for them. If you go more contact, no contact.
She said that his mother was overbearing and she overstepped her place.
She has attention issues
While she was in Sarah's bed, the detective noted what was on the bedside table.
He found approximately 8 to 10 insulin pens.
Everyone knew his brother. Had Joe given himself all of that insulin? And when did he do that? Though she hadn't been a detective for long, Fox's thoughts told her something was fishy about her conversations with Sam.
She would have little spurts of where she would hold her face down as if she was sad for like 30 seconds and then go back to just again casual conversation. I mean, everybody has different responses to trauma, but typically the response isn't that bizarre towards like we're casual, we're not, we're casual, we're not.
Did you get the sense that she was telling you the truth about things at all?
I didn't really know if she was lying or not. I think that Sarah is actually pretty smart and she's well spoken, and I couldn't really tell that she was lying per se, but I could tell that the things that she was saying just didn't make sense.
But when Detective Rock took her suspicions to the direct supervisors of the sheriff's department, let go, they told her.
There wasn't enough evidence that I could be beating a dead horse, so to say. And I was really pleased with like, you know, you weren't there, like you didn't get to read the room like I got to, and I just disagree. Like there's this not okay.
So why did you push back against Stephen Rock? What did you accomplish?
I mean, in law enforcement, we all kind of have type A personalities, so to speak, right? But at the end of the day, it's my name that's going to be on it, right? It's my name as the lead investigator, and so I wouldn't let somebody else persuade me to stop an investigation that has my name on it.
Just as well. 11 days after Joe was brought to the hospital, Sarah, being in the red sweatshirt, paid the cigarette. Disconnect lights. And Joe was feeling as well. And Detective Ross dug in, all the way to the wildest place anywhere around these parts of the city.
All four of my tires were black. Laundry detergent and gas tank in my car.
Remember when for your taxes we manually file the papers and then just wonder? Now with TurboTax Full Service it's so much easier. They have low evidence on money. Get started at snhu.edu. It's snhu.edu. Now that the holidays are over, you might be feeling like you've got a big swing to handle. Luckily, the new quota is here and you cut out payments by making your finance this January. 50% off unlimited premium lines. 12 months out with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. Delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. This January, keep overspending your house with 50% off unlimited premium lines. Plans start at $15 a month at getmobile.com/network. That's getmobile.com/network. Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $100 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months required. Taxes and fees optional. Initial plan termination. Over 50 gigabytes and slow. Easy. Technical advice required. Availability speed and performance randomly. See mobile.com. It was frustrating. Detective Skylar Rocks was inexperienced, yes, but something about this Sarah person bothered her more than a dinner law enforcement recognized him like the implement Sarah House. What do you know?
There's a bunch of different aliases that popped up.
Not aliases, just full-on narratives. 5, including Joe, Trouble, or Yes, Mary Starr. She was born Sarah Smith in 1975 to a dirt poor family in rural Missouri. But poor was only the half of it. Tell me what you learned about her upbringing. Was she one of those people who was abused as a kid and later got into these terrible things?
Yes, she did have a rough upbringing.
The younger brother was found dead, hanged by a carriage skull. The police looked into it, decided it was an accident. As for Sarah,
There was the sexual abuse that was alleged when Sarah was 3.
Sarah's mom kicked the dad out of the house, filed for divorce. And then, when she remarried, Sarah accused her stepdad of molesting her kid. There was a trial. Her stepdad was acquitted. Then, when Sarah was 11, she was sent to foster care.
Her mother went into child services and basically involved and said, I can't handle it.
Foster parents Barbara Stewart and her husband Steve. But very patient.
We were very close. She fit into the entire family, and everybody in our family except her.
Even though as the soon discovered. And she got a lot of stories of what you just heard.
If it were to her advantage, yeah.
Sneaking around, telling tall tales, breaking the rules seemed to be Sarah's specialty. Take the broad perspective. And as for Titus commercial, with soon death, Sarah had. She was real sweet, perhaps Foster dad Steve walked Sarah down the aisle when she married Titus right out of high school. His 18 years old. A month after the wedding, as they had planned, Titus joined her on. But it wasn't long before Sarah was off with another guy, maybe early on. And then Titus returned to service. Several people come up to me and tell me that I'm their parents. Which put an end to that marriage. And good riddance, that Titus. I was out of it. I don't have to worry about her anymore. We were divorced. Game over. But that's only true if your opponent needs to feel bad. Titus's new girlfriend, Angela, will be later married. But strange things began to happen. As soon as she and Titus started dating,
All 4 of my tires were flat. Laundry detergent and gas tank in my car.
a few people didn't see her about her doing it. But every time they called police,
She would always get it turned back where it was off fault.
sometimes people persuade the police that you were at fault, not her.
Right.
Then Angela said she caught Sarah lying.
There was gasoline splashed all over the front of the house, and I see her leaving the vicinity. And at that point, I was like, she was going to set that house on fire.
Which the police told the story. They said, well, it's either arson or arson.
Apparently, there's no such thing as attempted arson.
Titus said Sarah denied it, and she was never arrested or charged. She did, however, get married to one of Titus's friends. And then at 22, she joined the army.
I'm like, well, good. That'll be good for you. And after I got off the phone, I thought, we're going to know what the rules are now.
And somehow Sarah seemed to be reformed. Though her husband wasn't so happy when she met a fellow soldier named Gustavo.
He was a couple of years younger than her, and I think he was one of those guys that was just very innocent and trusting. And then the next thing you know, she's pregnant.
Soon, their daughter Ashley was born, and husband number 2 as well. And Chris became husband number 3. A year later, they had a son. The early years with Chris were perhaps Sarah's most stable. That's what her friend Hannah Williamson saw when they were both stationed at Fort William. You say that she kept him from
A beautiful home. She could have been an interior designer. She could have been an architect. She could have been a landscape artist. artist. She just was good at everything.
Detective Brock's talked to the kids, of course. Sarah's daughter Ashley said, at the time she was little, that perfection of her mother's was always on display.
The neighbors would compliment her and my dad as parents because they always saw all of us outside working together in the yard. So I think they thought that we were nice kids with a great family.
Whenever we had people over, she'd go crazy in the kitchen.
And so her son, Ryan,
And she's really good at it. Like Thanksgiving, she'd go nuts. Christmas, she'd go nuts. Like there's decorations everywhere.
in time, Sarah and Chris had 2 more children, girls. But then she had just around on a big shoe search in 2007. While they were gone, Ashley and Ryan were sent to stay with foster mom Barbara, who heard how the perfect family was maybe not so perfect after all.
They didn't really say anything about missing the mom. She would get mad at me because she was very adamant that they line up like those soldiers and say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And I said, you know what, I'm grandma, and they don't have to act like this in this house. They're kids.
When Sarah's deployment was over, we returned with no happy homecoming for the kids. Now, more like a cold.
I wish she wasn't taking time off.
Detective Spanner launched his deep. The suspicious Dr. Joe Archman and the governor started up. The life of Sarah had hope. Maybe in that troubled history, she discovered the reason Joe was dead. And what was she finding out? Curiouser and curiouser.
I think that people were scared of her, honestly.
For starters, the inside story of Sarah as mother, who said the children, rarely or ever.
I felt like she wasn't taking time off.
To the neighbors, Sarah projected perfection. The children,
The biggest goal we had was what happens in the house stays in the house.
Ashley talked about different abuses that she endured from Sarah as a child. And Ryan just seemed to be really apprehensive. He asked me, if anything he said to me was going to be that.
it's easy to understand why.
If we did something that upset her, it was kind of 0 to 100.
Big trouble.
But whenever you got in trouble, she'd let you know. It was something that the whole house knew. You know, when the other person's getting in the other room, you could hear every through the house because of the phone.
Ryan said the worst beating he took was after he broke a wall of the house they were renting.
She had the belt in her hand, she was just swinging. After a while, she throws the belt to the side and she just starts punching her in the face. I had bruises from my whole face down and from my shoulders to my ankles, and I missed school for a whole week.
How old were you when that happened?
I'd say like, I'd say 10.
She said me on Facebook. This child, also as a teenager. There was a time that was so bad. I told her I was going to call CPS.
That would be Child Protective Services.
And she said I was going to call CPS. She was the only reason to call CPS. And she continued beating me for what felt like hours. And I was covered in bruises.
Did you call the CPS?
No, because I was too scared of what would happen. But CPS did get called. And police showed up at the door. Running after school.
And here's the report of that day in the Bell County Sheriff's Office. It says a father of one of Ashley's friends called them, saying, Ashley her fingers possibly broken and had lacerations all over her body.
And I was like, she went over to get in trouble and she was it against me.
You would see the faces saying that you saw that as getting in trouble more.
Yes. I was very upset that they came to us.
So much so Ashley said she died. Sure enough, the report quoted Ashley telling deputies her black eye was a match. The report concluded that there is no evidence of going to the beach. Sarah told us she never been in a picture. Barbara Stewart said she heard about this incident and others.
The kids were threatened. They better not say anything. They better not admit any of this happened. And family services would always believe her. She would always talk her way out of it.
Ashley said, Dad, Chris, seemed powerless for Sarah.
There was only so much she could do. Because if he stood up for us, she would get very, very angry at him. I think he wanted to do anything to make it work and keep his family together. And he really did try. And she just made it difficult.
Whatever was going on behind closed doors, it didn't stop Sarah from continuing to pursue what they were thinking. In 2014, Sarah and Chris bought Preston custom-built place on the lake, not far from Fort Hood. But money was tight. Then, just 3 months after buying their home, Sarah got a call from her brother, Cody. Their grandmother thought they got it. Even behind the house, 325 acres of pine farm. And so Sarah rushed off to Missouri to see about an inheritance. What actually happened, let's just say the detective found it very curious indeed. Though curious is not the word Sarah's brother used.
I mean, the fact she snapped her hand and just roared right to the house. The snow just bellowed.
You can't watch Sarah's long-suffering older brother, Cody, handle about his time in Missouri. Not one man, living alone in a single life, no car, no internet, family farm. But Cody had done so well despite his messed up family. Until the day his grandmother passed away. It was August 2014. There was a funeral, of course, and Sarah, like some dark, prodigal child,
She stayed the night at the house with us. A couple days later, she wanted to kind of look through things. And that's what else the world doesn't have minutes.
a surprise. After all, Cody and his wife Mary Nancy attended Cody's grandmother and her father for years. But Sarah wasn't happy at all.
It just became more or less a screaming match. She said she's been fighting for the house and land and everything. But she owed $200,000 in her place wherever she was living at the time.
Sarah up and left after that, but Cody said she turned back with help.
They said, oh, they've got touch dwellers and they're hauling everything and looking on their laptop to see how much it's worth.
Ashley was there too.
My mom cleared out a lot of things.
And she felt better.
She did. She owns out of a lot of things.
That's a lifestyle. I don't know what to do about it, but I guess we never had a chance to have. Maybe then she let us know.
Wishful thinking.
All this thing's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I got up and smelled smoke.
The house was on fire, flames spreading rapidly across the wood floors.
Just roared back to the house. The smoke was billowing. I could see my hand in front of my face. I said, all I could do was crawl out the door. I ran down my brother twice. Looked him up, grabbed him up, and up to the house we came.
Because his brother's 8-year-old son Samuel was sleeping over. And Cody hadn't been able to find him in the smoke.
And my brother go in the house. And he said, Alex, I'm going to grab a hold of something that he thought he had. He grabbed it and jerked him and out he came.
They rushed Sandra off to the hospital, suffering from smoke inhalation and minor burns, being recovered. But the house Cody had just inherited was a total loss.
We were right there watching the hospital. Nothing else we could do. We got to watch everything we had go. And that was ours.
Cody was on Detective Rox's long list of people to talk to after Joe was dead.
He said that he believed it was Sarah from the beginning. Sarah had just came and done all the stuff she wanted out of the house, and now the house is on fire. He said he called Sarah. He's like, you didn't kill me or Xander. And he said that Sarah's response was, why is Xander in the house? Not, what are you talking about? Not,
of the drugs. But Sarah denied any involvement, of course.
And she denied to the fire investigator, she denied to the police, she denied to everybody.
The sheriff's department said the cause of the fire was undetermined. The fire department did the same thing, though the fire marshal did find something more clearly.
The fire marshal observed poison ivy on the back of the house where the fire started. And a couple days later went to interview Sarah and reported that she had poison ivy rash on her face.
But Sarah was never charged with anything. And despite all the local suspicions about Sarah and the fire, she stuck around for a bit. For this guy, Brian Moses, an old childhood chum of Sarah's, they reconnected with the grandmother. That's how Brian's intriguing roller coaster ride with Sarah began. Sarah told her husband Chris that her couple trips to the world were necessary to deal with her grandmother's and all perfectly innocent. But she told Brian something quite different.
She informed me that she and Chris were going to get divorced.
Brian fell hard. There was something irresistible about that woman. What did you love about her?
She has a way of making me feel really important. Like you
Was she attractive? Was she good at that? Was she enticing?
she was very attractive. Yes, the cream was better than
What
it.
did you say? So she could persuade him that up was down and down was up.
Oh yeah, and I firmly believe she would kill somebody right in front of a police officer and make them believe that she did not do it.
You might want to remember that. Brian was as happy as he had ever been. And miserable.
There's no way you can be this person that everybody loves to be around to be downright mean and hateful in a matter of seconds. Basically the devil's daughter. Yeah.
Things got contentious between them. They filed for restraining order against each other. Then Sarah showed him a composite pregnancy test.
Should I go ruin the fun? Should I go ruin the fun? I'm about to go in there. Yeah. And Allison's plowing the fucking road. That's Allison that just drove by. I'm like, bro, stop. Like, they're like, we gotta wait for this shit to stop. Yeah.
Tried to prevent Brian's home from burning to the ground. But
Ah,
there was still plenty.
thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we've been out here since 6 a.m.
Most of the damage was, but it got so
Took a break from plowing on the roads right now, just to let that freezing rain stop. And then we'll get back out there. Right now, we're just clearing parking lots.
And suggested one of his relatives should start a
Appreciate the comments. Everybody leave a like if you like this video. Like this video. My man Sean G say like this video. Like this
There
video.
was a house fire for Cody Smith's house where he was inside of the residence at the time. There was Titus's house being covered in gasoline. There was Brian Altus's bedroom caught
Like
fire.
this video.
Every time I turned a different direction, there was something else.
And the detective was beginning to believe that when Sarah wasn't
If
happy,
you like what we're doing, like this video.
Brian suffered.
I just don't think
All the likes help.
Sarah is a
I sound like really like one of them young kids, them YouTubers. Like, comment, subscribe. Like this video. Woo!
What did she do? No child. No perspective.
You know, everybody goes about the fire, you know, how the one can survive. But I think I ran through a good guy.
The next fella Sarah surprised wouldn't be so lucky.
On the front of every loaf of Dave's Killer Bread is a guitar-wielding dude who's given a second chance.
Received a progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings for married $5.5/$1 million was in Sarah's rearview mirror. But was Sarah lonely? Not for long. She had a solar panel contractor for the Army, then paid brother. Doris Schwartz is David's mother.
She walked in the room and turned around and saw her. Wow. And from that moment on, he was spellbound.
My neighbor Sarah was actually still married. She was gone.
Yeah, I heard about the power outages. I'm in New Jersey, really central Jersey, so around here it's pretty good. But out on the Midwest, and they're gonna get. I think somebody on here earlier said they from Tennessee, they lost power. I know Houston, people in Houston lost power. It's sad, man. People to go without power. Freezing temperatures. I just hope nobody's pipes burst and ruin their homes, because that's major.
Then he went inside.
I will say, after this snowstorm, I think I need to go somewhere tropical. I think it's time to book a vacation.
What would you say? Chris didn't stick around and returned to cooking.
Time to book a vacation.
She claimed she had one too. All of a sudden, she gets so sick and she can't be around my sister.
Why? Sarah claims bizarrely that her kids could be harmed by radiation from the cooking. So she skedaddled for 2 months. Left absolutely trouble.
So she wasn't staying at home. But I know that she was with David. She was always with David.
Of course, Leslie was right. David and Sarah went on vacation and stopped in to see David's
Ooh, nice.
mother,
82.
who
Woo,
liked Sarah.
jealous.
She was extremely charming. She was a beautiful woman.
Jealous.
And carried herself so well.
Wish I was by the
She
pool
was
right now.
gracious. I thought he found
Sipping a nice
wonderful
drink.
David's adopted brother, Daniel Bragg, hoped that Sarah would be a keeper.
Yo, ain't nobody here in primaries, right?
No, not right now.
It's always one person.
Huh?
It's always one person. Alistair.
Of course.
He been plowing Buttonwood for the last 10 minutes.
And Buttonwood fucked up later.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to tell Chuck to tell. I don't know if Chuck told him to, or I don't know, but he been up and down.
Chuck probably did tell him to, who knows, but no, and I just heard right before I left, Ryan reconfirmed to Chuck that we ain't plowing on it right now. Just let everything be.
Well, Alistair ain't get the memo. I'm like, he know. I'm like, cause I just seen Sharp. So they over here at Moody, and I was already over here before you sent them over here. And I'm like, who would? And I looked, and that was Alistair fucking plowing Buttonwood. Like, no, bro. Like, do you not listen either? Like, the other dickhead? Hey, the fuck? Yeah, I was about to say, let him know before this shit gets super slick, so. Hey, alright. My bad, y'all had to hear that conversation. We are not plowing the main roads right now because it's freezing rain, so we don't want them to, we don't want that freezing rain to get to the blacktop and make the roads all slick and to be a layer of ice. So we just kind of wanted to think about it like a cake. We want that bottom layer to be soft, then we want the middle of it to be that freezing rain where it's hard, and then when it snows again, it'll be soft at the top. So we just want to avoid that freezing rain from touching the blacktop. Yeah, appreciate it. Hit that like button. Yeah, we out here working on a Sunday. Hey, 49 degrees. Woo. Yeah, I think right now we at like 16 degrees up here in New Jersey. Right now, I just wish people would stay home. Everybody's like out and about moving around. Stay home. Like, somebody over here been hitting donuts in the parking lot. I had to come ruin their fun. Because what people don't realize is when you drive on that snow, you pack it down. So by the time we come to plow it, it's damn near impossible to get to. That's why we want yeah, I'm missing a bunch right now. All I got right now is podcasts and YouTube videos. Podcasts and YouTube videos. That's it. The other good thing is I'm gonna have a home cooked meal when we take our break. So that's a plus. I don't have to worry about buying food. There you go. Lift that plow up. Stop plowing those damn streets. Save your energy for later. We all gonna need it.
To get more energy, and started using energy drinks, and then some Britain, and then she gave him ambulance.
I mean, for me here, I'm just a visual person, so I pay attention to everything. So I just know. Like, I just know where everything is at. I've been living in this town for so long. So it's one of those where you just know. But, like, I think about these things in, like, the summertime. Like, I'm one of those people. Welcome back.
We've had bad relationships and we kept trying to give this one chances because he
I'm
didn't
flying with this window open, but it's getting a little cold.
Plans to live.
Last time I saw him, he was kind of bumped out.
She put her on the gun and she pointed back behind herself and she fired empty all over.
Yeah, like, I just know where these curves at. See, I like to push the snow above the curb a little bit too so I can expose the curb. So now once I see where the curb is at too, then it's downhill from there. But like here, I just know where the curb is. And sometimes that like I just expose the curb right there. But sometimes my the end of my plow will hit the curb too and expose it as well.
And so she put the two girls in the car.
That's how. Yeah, John Deere front end loader. Yeah. Yep. I would rather have a cat, but my job got John Deere.
They're very heavy.
Anyway, Sarah told Hannah she would be solid protection.
Climate control cab.
And he was able to get it away from them. She hit the ground, quote unquote, and she hit the ground. That's when another gun sweat hit the ground also. And she remembered she had a second gun. So she withdrew the gun and she pointed it back behind herself and she fired into all of them. She just pointed it back behind her from the ground.
Yeah, I would rather a cat. You like cat better? I would rather use a cat.
She's coming down the stairs.
I know a lot of people say, you know, John Deere is more power, but I like cat personally.
She could have said it last. But there's more there.
She tried to convince me because she should know I also have that experience from experience. And this is unbelievable.
Then Sarah told her something that Hannah absolutely believed about the local police.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, cats way more smooth.
She loaded the front seat of the police car to the police station. They didn't investigate anything.
My boy.
Though there was investigation that involved the Douglas County Sheriff and even Springdale.
I need some screws on that.
And then the questionnaires was a statement that the Senate put us together to support Sarah. Self-defense.
All together and
So, but Rhodes was uncovering Sarah's half-buried secrets. The deeper you went into these, the more crazy things you find out.
Yes.
Like the disturbing story of fake baby. Sarah's lover, fiance, and again. Here's the story, as Sarah told it to her friend Hannah.
David and herself had been fighting, and so she put the two girls in the car and said, "We're leaving back to Texas." When she was about to leave, she realized she had two guns in her car, so she decided to bring them back to the house.
Push that pile. Push that pile.
But Sarah said she put the guns in the pockets of her knit sweater.
They're very heavy.
Anyway, Sarah told Hannah she saw David and pulled out one of the guns for protection.
And somehow they came together and they wrestled over the gun, and he was able to get it away from her.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't mind loading trucks.
And David
Like, it's just
She hit
something
the
just to
ground,
keep you busy.
quote unquote. When she hit the ground, that's when the other gun in her sweater pocket hit the ground also.
I wouldn't mind doing
And she
that.
remembered she had a second gun. So she withdrew the gun and she pointed it back behind herself and she fired into all of them. She just pointed it back behind her from the ground and fired.
Here's what she told her son, Ronnie.
As she's coming down the stairs, she dropped in place and had her arm over the railing and fired that way. So you're just picture yourself crouched down, arm over the railing and just shooting blindly.
Later, Sarah told officials, he was still coming towards me. My only chance of surviving that moment was to fire it.
Hold on. So she could have said it last. Like there's no way.
The story couldn't be true. Wow. Even Hannah, loyal Hannah, knew that.
She tried to convince me because she should know I also have that experience, and this is unbelievable.
then Sarah told her something that Hannah absolutely believed about the local police.
Sarah told them herself. They never once suspected foul play. She bragged that she rode in the front seat of the police car to the police station. They didn't investigate anything.
She had said she was an important person.
Incredibly engaging.
There was some
I'm back. Had to take a phone call. Took a phone call. Back to the ASMR.
Even David Bragg's mother, Doris, who's devastated.
I can't wait until it gets dark.
Sarah.
Everybody back in the damn house. Nobody's outside on the roof.
Because guns were involved. It was a shaky relationship. So it all did seem reasonable.
David's brother Daniel didn't think it was reasonable at all. He was sure the investigators got played by Sarah.
They just kind of swept under the rug. They didn't prosecute it. They didn't do anything with it except take her word for it.
What did you make of that shot? Examine it.
There's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of things that I think should be investigated further.
Maybe the Minnesota detective should have talked to the police. Could have told them how her mother reacted when a man didn't want her anymore.
She got really sad and upset about my dad because my dad had started talking to somebody. And she hated that. And I think that she was playing house with David at home, but then like still trying to go with my dad behind David's back. She and complicated go along very well.
Days before the shooting, she was with her mom in Texas, and Sarah packed up to return to the farmhouse.
She told me if anything happens and I go back to Minnesota to defend myself, I have this person to tell me to come with the girls. And I was just like, here's what I was like, Mom, I don't think anything's gonna happen with that. And she was like, well, if it does, she said, call him and tell him to come pick up the girls. I was like, okay. And then I get a call a couple days later and I was like, oh.
That call, a couple of days later, was how Ashley learned that David was dead.
When your heart hurts, what do you think of?
I personally think that she provoked a fight and she thought that she would be able to get my dad back. He would want her back if David was no longer in the picture.
Except Chris didn't want her back. Their divorce was nearly final. But maybe David was in the way for a completely different reason. A tall, handsome stranger, a propane delivery guy with a catchy nickname, the Gas Man.
This gas man came down her long driveway in the country, and she just fell in love with him last night.
On the front of every loaf of Dave's Killer Bread is a guitar wielding dude who's given a second chance. Inside every loaf of Dave's Killer Bread are killer organic ingredients, taste, and texture. Born of that same guitar form his face.
David Bragg was dead. Sarah was very much alive, full of plans. For one thing, the old wet farmhouse in Minnesota was still being fixed. George shot fiancé David inside. Plans are plans. Now she had a new man who was happy to help.
This gas man came down her long driveway in the country, and she just fell in love with him last night.
That love at first sight meeting happened 8 months before she shot David Bragg. And the gas man happened to be another David, George. Sarah called him George. David Bragg's mother maintained a relationship with someone who actually met him.
David George told me he was blown away. He had never seen such a beautiful woman.
A year after she shot David Bragg, George became husband number 4. Young Ryan liked him personally.
Really cared about us. Trying to help us everywhere he could. I think his motives long. It doesn't make him a bad guy. It's the fact that, my mom is his wife, and even when she's wrong, he sides with her.
Which is something to keep in mind when you hear what happened next. First, bring it up to date. Husband number 3, Chris, had remarried 2. A woman named Heather. They moved to Arizona and lived there. Except for one big problem. Chris and Sarah had a custody agreement for their 2 youngest daughters. But Sarah wasn't honorable. According to Chris, she refused for years to let him with any redeemed girl. Then one day, one of those girls, I am not the name for Sarah's friend, told Ashley she wanted to talk.
She's like, I can't tell you. She's like, George told me to say it. I was like, I'm not gonna lie back tomorrow. We're to 32nd Avenue. So she tells me. And she like whispers to me.
See, Brad, unbelievable. And Ashley knew she could not let it remain secret. What did Hannah tell you?
George had told her that my mom wouldn't let George back in the house until he killed Heather.
This is his wife.
He was supposed to knock on the door, and then he was supposed to answer, and he was supposed to shoot her. He didn't want to do it. My mom kept pressuring him to do it.
What was the idea?
It honestly made me sick.
Ashley got her dad on the phone. How did your dad react to what you told him?
I think he really stressed him out. His main concern was making sure his wife was safe.
The urgency intensified for Chris and Heather. Once Chris realized he'd already been face to face with David George and Sarah's current husband, and he would be living, as you can see for yourself. This delivery man on mobile video of the Donahue resident, that is David George, who traveled all the way from Minnesota to the Donahue place in the flowers were addressed to Chris's wife, Heather. Then something terrible. Was there a hint of nervousness in the delivery man's voice? The mysterious delivery man never returned. So what happened after all of this? David George wouldn't do it. What happened after that to their relationship?
He wasn't allowed back in the house.
Though Sarah offered her friend Hannah, for other reasons, came to George.
An online cellular phone affair he was having. Did anything to do with this just insanely unbelievable story, conspiracy story about a hit.
And Sarah too. She wasn't only mad at George, she was mad at Ashley too.
This whole person was married. Ashley, of course, wanted anything to destroy Sarah's happiness and joy and chance at good life. Ashley calls the FBI, and Ashley reports the entire story of the attempted hit.
But no, it was actually Chris who called the FBI. And then they spoke to David George. David George admits the FBI to killing.
David George does.
But then George recanted. When do you think he changed his mind and said it was all wrong?
That electric control that Sarah has over men.
Without the FBI's investigation had a huge hole, and the United States Attorney referred to Washington, so the case fell apart. But not before Chris went to family court, got a protective order following Sarah from getting near him or their two youngest children. That was amazing. That seemed to send her mother right over the edge.
Of course, she lost her mind on him when she lost custody of her sisters.
David George declined our request for long-term commitment, told us he never had any intention of killing anyone. In any case, Sarah was done with George, but it wasn't that she was leaving after all.
Sarah then began a series of relationships through online dating. The first, the man of her dreams.
Sarah told me that Ashley destroyed that routine when she sent an article about being dragged to an ex-wife over the he dropped it. Smart man.
Then the next relationship after him ended with her giving him alcohol to consume until he passed out so she could call the police, have them show up, see guns in his possession because she found out he had a record and he was not able to be in the facility of guns.
I don't know what to
God lost him.
And as I said, lost her.
And actually said, no men, stop with the men.
If only Sarah had taken her advice. But no, she went out looking for the next step of her life. And found it. And, of course, was Joe Hunt. It wasn't long before Detective Ross realized Joe Hartsfield had no idea what he was going into when he met Sarah. He didn't even know the sex. Did Joseph know this was going Joe had been scared away by Sarah's past? Impossible to know now. Detective Ross, meanwhile, was still trying to take it all in.
I reached a point where I just stopped being shocked.
But she found that every turn led to another story about Sarah's past. Like the thing that happened to Sarah's father in 2005. Remember, he was accused of molesting Sarah years earlier when she was very young.
She told me that she was going to go get her and bring it home. I said, this is the guy that you've hated all your life, and you talked about so terribly, and you talked about somebody has to.
But what happened once he got to Sarah's bed?
She was in the house for like 2 or 3 days, and he died right before me. Yeah. She had given him his medicine, like he had a liquid medicine to take, and like he grabbed his chest like this, and
Just right.
like
Ashton was 6 at the time. The only witness. An ambulance came, but there was nothing to be done. Sarah told us her father died of natural causes, and he was given medication prescribed to him and nothing else. But nowhere in the law listed Sarah against recent arrest with any charges or convictions. And it would stay that way if that Detective Skylar Ross, she could have nailed down this one case. Joe's case.
And at some point, I had to tell myself that I had to quit digging and focus on Joseph because Joseph is my victim.
I think while it wasn't a murder investigation yet, Joe was still being kept alive in the hospital. So Detective Fox went about figuring out what Sarah was doing in the hours leading up to Joe's health crisis.
After talking to Sarah for the first time, I knew that the story just didn't make sense.
Likely claimed that she herself was medicated heavily. That's why she didn't notice Joe's symptoms. The sleep on the couch thing? Not up, Detective Ross. Nor did this story she told about leaving a glass of orange juice on the kitchen counter for Joe. Did you find that glass?
There was a glass of orange juice on the counter. However, the orange juice at the bottom of the glass was dried out. And it also had specks of mold in it.
Well, there was a difference between thinking something fine and proving it. She somewhat lined up under the beaver.
I've never met her before, but I saw the look on her face.
She thought District Attorney Cheryl D. told her how Joe was barely alive, how the hospital staff was suspicious he had too much insulin in his body, and how Sarah was keeping his family away from him.
The more she started talking, the more, my jaw started dropping, and I said, you've got a case?
And so Detective Ross returned to the hospital on January 12th, 5 days after Joe first got there, and found Sarah in Joe's room.
I told her, Sarah, I have some bad news for you. And she's like, okay, what is it? And I said, I'm going to need you to come home. And she says, oh, crap.
Like that?
And then she says, so here's the question. I don't have to give you this for a warrant, right? And I said, I do want a warrant.
But Sarah did not want to part with her phone.
You can tell the wheels in her head were turning. She was trying to process, like, what is going on. And she had told me that she was in the middle of typing a Facebook post to update everybody of Joseph's condition. And she asked if she could go ahead and post the Facebook post.
What was she telling people what happened to Joe?
That he had a stroke.
A stroke? I mean, no foul play. Except the medical record was clear. Joe did not have a stroke. And then the phone made it clear. Remember Sarah's story? She was asleep on post-operative medication and couldn't do more than put an occasional glass of OJ on the counter for Joe? Well.
She was not asleep from 5 o'clock in the morning until 1 p.m.
When she said she was. Sarah was busy, though her browsing data had been deleted.
There there were cookies that proved she was on the USAA banking app, that she was on Facebook, that she was on Realtor.com, that she was on ZipRecruiter.
She even ordered a grocery delivery during that time. In the supermarket diabetic shock, Sarah changed his phone settings and made herself the beneficiary of his digital legacy.
In the event of Joseph's death, she would have all rights to his Apple iCloud, Apple ID, all of his Apple devices.
Sarah checked in her daughter that Joe snored so much she had to sleep on the couch and attached a recording as proof.
But that also puts the cell phone in her hand while she's receiving a notification that her husband's blood sugar is low every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes during that entire time?
Yes. I believe it was 124 notifications that she received.
Received them and didn't act on them all that time.
Yep.
So now the detective had some evidence. She wasn't imagining things after all.
That's when everybody was like, okay, you might have been right. Like, this might be a little weird.
It was not a minute too soon, said the DA.
We got some information that she was talking to a realtor about the prospect market. So we were afraid that she was going to flee.
On the front of every loaf of Dave's Killer Bread is a guitar-wielding dude who's given a second chance. Inside every loaf of Dave's Killer Bread are killer organic ingredients, taste, and texture. All of that same guitar.
right, so listen, yeah, man. I'm glad you could call in, man, today, man. I'm sitting here with my counterpart, Brocky Jackson, man. We do Tales from the Jail, man. Glad that you could reach out, man. So I wanted to talk to you about that, man. We thought you want to leave out and speak about. First of all, I want to congratulate you, man, on the book that's coming out. I haven't got an opportunity to read it yet, but I look forward to reading it. Exactly. So, how did you come up with that book? That theme, that title?
I read like that's all I do. Yeah, I work out. I read a lot of urban novels. I read a lot of novels. I read books about these all the time. And I said, now I want to write. I just started writing one, but I wanted to expand the genre of urban novels. I want to give up some guys, people, I wanted to expand. I want the genre to expand further than just being on the block. That's what it's right.
Okay.
When you read the book, you'll understand why people are
Okay. I'm definitely check it out. So let me ask you a question. You've been now.
Somebody's stuck right here. I'm gonna see if I can help him out.
Did you get my letter yet? I sent you a letter, man. Oh man, okay. Glad you got that, bro. Now, I know that you're a big Sandy. You can tell us this show yet? But so Big Sandy, he spoke about Big Sandy speaking about it always locked down, and things of that nature.
Well, things like that no more. It's open. It is like, I'm not going to lie to you. It's very, 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 very violent.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking about the extreme. And you couldn't even fathom.
Wow. How was it?
It's like it's pushing me everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2-3 times a day.
And it's just beef with different. You got the Serranos and blacks.
Yeah, you got people with that. It's separate.
Just help him. He was stuck. A lot of people trying to drive in this right now. A lot of people trying to drive in this right now, and they getting stuck out here. I didn't want to plow too much of the road because of the freezing rain, but I figured I'd help him out. I know how it is to get stuck. You see, he had a shovel. He was doing the right thing. Get this nigga salt. If he had salt, he'd have been good.
How was it?
It's like it's pushing me everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2-3 times a day.
And it's just beef with different. You got the Serranos and blacks.
Yeah, exactly. We got people all around America. It's separated geographic sections. It's like that. It's a whole bunch of politics and more crap and things. It's a headache to work with, guys.
Well,
it's a headache going to be because everywhere I go.
This call is from a federal prison.
Everywhere I go, even if I don't ask, they're going to automatically put me in on the leadership. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to be, I got to manage 100 people. You think what I'm saying?
So now, listen. Now you now got your age, right? And I'm assuming that's gonna be your home jail, or they gonna move you around. You don't know.
I'm at a pen now right now. I'm trying to get to a meeting. I'm trying to get to a lesser security jail. You hear about the feds? It's all good. That's because people be at the camp in the low. Some mediums. I'm at the 10th USP, so it's kind of different. It ain't flowers and cupcakes. But when my cut level drops and I get to a medium or a low, it's gonna be better.
Well, I spoke to you, a few days ago, last week, and the question I asked you was about some of the things that you lost. And you mentioned that, like family,
Dude who was given a second chance. And behind every loaf of thieves' killer bread are countless employees, given not only
Reference, follow Plan B on Insta. I'll plan more.
make the case against Sarah before she could up and leave. And finally, after so many years of accusation, this time, different.
We got an indictment early February, and Sarah was arrested on February 3rd, 2023.
It was 19 days after Joe died, and the day after Sarah's 48th birthday. Were you at the arrest?
Yes, I was there.
From who?
She wasn't confused.
Was the arrest just in time?
I'm gonna be back on this thing when we get to pushing snow. Appreciate everybody that tuned into the live. I'll be back on here later tonight or early tomorrow morning. I'm out.